Hi, Rainy Bastarash here. In order to have new programming, in order to replace your present programming with the successful programming that people that are successful have in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and happiness, to do that, you're going to learn to program things differently. You're going to have to understand that there's a lot of things that you probably don't know of right now. There's information you've never heard of, and there's probably even some information that maybe you have heard of before, but you haven't given it much thought, that needs to be programmed into your subconscious mind to become a permanent part of you, to become new habits. Now, in order to do that, there's a process, what we call the 4 steps of learning anything. That you're going to need to understand. That's what we're going to speak to you about in today's video. This is a process you're going to go through with all the information we're going to be sending you, and also a process that you probably have been using and will be using for making habits or learning anything that you are learning, whether it be at school or just from habits that you'd like to develop. So let me go ahead and show you what they are, and we'll talk about them. These are the 4 steps that I was mentioning. Now, these stages are important to understand thoroughly as they're the basic principles, as I mentioned earlier, in mental programming. You'll be taking your desired behaviors and bringing them all the way from stage 1, which is not knowing, stage 2, maybe knowing a little bit, all the way to stage 4. Unfortunately, when it comes to replacing and understanding behaviors, it's also a stage 4 behavior that's being addressed, an automated, a subconscious behavior. So let's talk about the different stages. The first one, which is stage 1 right over here, is called unconscious incompetence. Basically, it's a stage where you say, I don't know that I don't know it. So it's something you've never heard before. Stage 2 brings you to conscious incompetence, which is I know that I don't know this. Stage 3 is I know that I know it. And stage 4 is I don't know that I know it. It's an automated or autopilot habitual type behavior. So let's go on and explain a little bit about each one. The first one here, I don't know that I don't know. At this stage, you're in a stage of blissful ignorance. You don't understand or know how to do something, and most likely you don't even realize that this skill or ability is available to you. Remember, there's a lot of traits that successful people have that you don't know of. If you did, you'd be successful already. So you might even deny the usefulness of it when you first hear these traits. So you need to recognize your own incompetence or your own lack of knowledge and the value of the new skills before moving on to the next stage, which is conscious incompetence. Now that's I know that I don't know. At this stage, you find that there's skills that you need to learn and that you can benefit from. You don't understand or know how to do something yet, but you do realize that there's something missing, that there's a value in learning or adopting this new skill. Now, understanding that brings you to step 3. I know that I know. At this stage, you begin to learn the new skill or the knowledge. You're practicing the skill, and it requires concentration and repetition. It can be broken down into different steps, into easier steps, and there's heavy conscious involvement in executing it. So you're working at it, kind of like when you're memorizing something. You're going over and over, creating the habit. And once you've done that, it brings you to the next step, which is the conscious competence. And this is where you know something instinctively. At this stage, you've had so much practice with the skill that it's become a second nature. It can be performed easily. You're functioning it on an automatic pilot type basis. And you can even do this ability, this new ability, while you're doing other tasks at the same time. So it's become part of you. So in your videos, you're going to be receiving lots of new mind hacking concepts, and some of them will be in the stages that you've never heard them before. And like I said, some of them will be from stage 2 as well, ones that you might have heard about before, but you never really considered them or gave them much thought. So through repetition, you're going to take these stage 1 and stage 2 concepts and bring them to stage 3, where you'll be practicing them over and over and trying to make them, I shouldn't say trying, making them part of your new programming until you practice them so much and repeat them so much and focus on them and listen to them that eventually they're going to become an automatic behavior, a subconscious program. Because remember what we said before is the purpose of the subconscious mind is to create the reality according to your programming. So your reality will change according to your programming because it's the same frequency. That's the only thing it can do. So by changing your programming, you change your life. Thanks for watching, and be sure to read the assignments below this video and get those going, because that's also an important part of your programming process. Bye-bye.